Welcome back to another episode of Bella in Your Business. My name is Bella Vasta, and today we're gonna get right on into it. Before we do, I want to encourage you to please like or subscribe wherever it is that you listen to this podcast. We just recently started putting them all up on YouTube, so if you like to watch, you can actually watch these episodes on YouTube, or you can still listen on whatever your favorite podcast episode listener is. Look, I talk to businesses all day, like every single day. And I can't tell you how many times over the past 20 years I have heard, Bella, I can't find good people. Or no one wants to work. The job market's terrible. I hired 3 people and they ghosted me after training. Here's the thing. I'm about to drop some truth bombs today that might be a little uncomfortable, but they could also completely transform your business. So, are you willing to get a little uncomfortable to maybe change the face of your business? I'm not kidding, because today that's exactly what I'm going to show you. So, let's start off with the real problem. Let's cut through the fluff because you know I'm a non-nonsense person. You're not struggling to find good people because no one wants to work anymore. It's just not the truth. Good employees exist. They're out there right now working for businesses that have their act together. The real reason you're struggling is because your hiring process is most likely random, reactive, and if I'm being completely honest, it's exhausting. It's like I'm gonna date myself right now, but you know that song, "This is the song that doesn't end." I'm sorry if that's in your head the rest of the day today, but that's how some of your hiring processes are. And because of it, then you wonder why people who either apply, never show up for the interview after 2 weeks, or worse, they stay, but they do such a terrible job that your clients are complaining and you're constantly putting out fires. You're constantly retraining them. It's not a hiring problem, my friends. That is a business building problem. And think about it this way. Would you want to work for a business that always hires when they're in crisis mode? Would you want to work for a team where the job description clearly shows the owner threw it together in 15 minutes? Would you want to work for someone where the onboarding consists of follow me around for days and try to remember all of it and then you're out on your own? Of course not. And neither do the quality employees that you're trying to attract. Consider this scenario. Imagining a pet sitting business where the owner posts jobs at midnight when they're exhausted and after a long day of pet sitting. Their job descriptions are vague and focused on entirely what they need, not what would attract a candidate. And their onboarding, well, it basically doesn't exist. But no wonder they can't find good people. The entire process is screaming, this business is chaos. Now, contrast that with a business that implements hiring processes, like clear, distinct hiring processes. They have a multi step interview process that filters out people who aren't serious, and they have a comprehensive onboarding so that it makes the hires feel new, confident, and prepared. The second business is never short on quality applicants. Even in this so called tight labor market, they have eager people working for them. The difference isn't luck, it's systems. And I literally see this. I see this between the free Facebook groups and where people start getting really discouraged and they decide that there's no one to hire out there. And they all kind of like gather up around the watering hole and then they all start agreeing the stinking thinking. And then there's like this magical place where there's a ton of people that aren't having trouble hiring because they've built out these systems. I literally see the contrast and I'm not kidding. So, what real employees want? You want to talk about that? What they really want are it's not just about money. And unfortunately, a lot of you throw money at the problem. Quality people, the kind that show up on time, follow your process, and genuinely care about the pets that they're looking after, they don't want chaos, especially when they're not making big bucks. They don't want to be dumped into your business with zero training, no clear expectations, and a boss who's texting them at like 9 o'clock at night because they forgot something important. Okay. Listen, if you're feeling uncomfortable right now, I'm not trying to make you that way, but hopefully you realize that something's got to change. And I'm here to help guide you through that. What they do want is something that's very simple. First, they want clarity. They want expectations. Doesn't everyone? Clear job descriptions, clear understanding of what success looks like. They want to know exactly what they're signing up for before they start. Second, they want consistency. We just want that as humans, honestly. A consistent schedule, consistent communication, consistent policies. They don't want to feel like the rules are changing based off of your mood every week. And third, they want communication. They want regular check ins, feedback on their performance, and a boss who actually listens when they have questions or concerns. They want to feel heard and valued. This reminds me a lot of those situations when an employee says, "I'm not comfortable visiting that dog," because something about their spidey sense says that something's off. And the business owner might force them to keep going or go with them to try to get them acclimated and not just acknowledge and respect their feeling for, "I don't want to be around this dog." The final thing that I want to bring up is that they want to feel like the company has their act together. A business that's organized and professional and treats them like a valued team member, like they've done this many times before, is not a disposable resource. So here's the thing, if your hiring strategy is, "let's see who applies and we'll figure out as we go," you're setting yourself up for constant turnover and burnout. And I'm willing to bet that it's not a them problem, it's a you problem. Again, I know this is going to rub some of you a hard way today, but stick with me, okay? Because I'm going to give you some solutions. I want you to think about this scenario, and this might be really close for home. A dog walking company above offers the market rate wages and flexible schedule, yet they can't keep anyone for longer than a few months. But they think it's the rates. No one wants to work because it's not enough money. When they examine their process, they discovered that the new hires feel completely abandoned after training. There's no system for them to ask questions, no regular check ins, no clear path for advancement. There's like no vision, right? They're just thrown in the deep end and expected to swim. Now, imagine if they implemented a system of weekly trainings or monthly or group chat for daily questions or monthly one-on-one check-ins. Their retention rate would likely improve dramatically. And I've seen it because people would feel supported and like part of a team and not just a warm body like filling in a scheduling slot. Now let's talk about one of the biggest painkillers out of there of hiring, and it's panic hiring. And I know a lot of you guys do that. And this looks like, oh my gosh, someone just quit, or someone is sick, or someone has a vacation, or someone's moving away. And maybe it's more than one someone. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, you're laying awake at night. I get it. And you have to hire. And so you make poor choices. They think you might think that hiring is about plugging a hole and not necessarily building a team. Let me say that again. Hiring is not plugging a scheduling hole, it's building a team. They this person sees hiring as a necessary evil when they're overwhelmed and not as a strategic process to grow their business. They wait until they're drowning in work, completely stressed out, and then rush to post a job. The urgency comes through the entire process, and the quality candidates smell desperation a mile away. They don't have systems, processes, they don't have proper onboarding, even clear job descriptions. They might have copied generic job descriptions, so then it doesn't even accurately represent the company culture or the feel of their company. Would you want to work for a company like that if you felt like you got like a bait and switch? Probably not. But I guarantee you there's a lot of pet sitting dog walking businesses out there that are doing that. So I want you to think about what it means to work in the short term. But within a few weeks, they could have an excellent new team member that rather than panic hires creates more problems that they solve, actually adds to the team. Okay. Panic hiring will not solve any of your problems. They'll just perpetuate them. Okay. Don't panic hire. Now, you need a hiring funnel. Like, this is how you don't panic hire. And this is why I keep talking about this. And I'm going to keep talking about this until this problem is fixed in this industry. Okay, let me be crystal clear. You don't attract great employees by chance, you attract them by design. And if you don't have a system that bridges the right people in and the filters the wrong ones out, then you're going to be staying stuck in that hire, train, quit cycle forever. What do I mean by hiring funnel? I talked about it a lot of times on here, but and we talk about it in the mastermind, and like it's one of the things I talk a lot about in intensives. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of inspiration to hopefully move you into action, which is either to do it yourself, which good luck. There's a lot of like like tiny little things in there, but it's absolutely doable. And you can go back to a lot of the other podcast episodes I have, or you can go back to a lot of my blogs. Or if you're in the mastermind, you can go into the guide and go straight through all of it. But it's a strategic multi-step process that attracts the right candidates through carefully crafted job descriptions, screens them effectively with targeted application questions, evaluates them consistently with a structured interview process, and retains them. I call it an employee love program with ongoing support and development. Each step in this funnel is designed to attract both quality people and filter out those who aren't good before they become your problem employees. Now, I'm not here to teach you exactly how to build the system today. That's something we work on in depth in the mastermind, as I was saying, because it's like way too complex to cover. I mean, for some people, I've taken a whole entire 8-hour day to go through this. So it's not, if you did it in an hour, there's probably still more work to be done. In fact, when you think you're done, it's something that you're constantly shaping over a year or two. Truly. Okay? It is like a fluid thing. But I'm here to tell you that if you're not doing it, you're just throwing random job posts while you're desperate hoping for the best. And your business is always going to feel like it's on the edge of collapse. You're always going to be laying awake at night thinking, oh my God, what happens if one person quits? I'm screwed. Okay. I know I've been there like when I had my business 20 years ago. You'll always be the one resignation away from crisis mode, and you'll always be scrambling to cover shifts. You'll always be stressed out about whether your clients are getting the care they deserve. And that's not the business you dreamed of building, now is it? That does not scream financial freedom or time freedom to me. Your business deserves professionals, people who respect your brand, who care about the pets and the process, and who take ownership of their work. But here's the kicker. You only attract the level of person when you become that kind of leader. Does any of this feel relatable to finding a mate? Does any of this feel relatable to just life in general or attraction? Okay. Too many business owners are stuck in the trap of babysitting adults instead of leading a team. They're micromanaging every care note, double checking every schedule, and essentially treating their employees like they can't be trusted. And guess what? The kind of employee who puts up with that level of micromanagement are rarely your A-type players. The best employees want autonomy, trust, and the opportunity to excel without someone constantly looking over their shoulder. If you want to attract and retain great people, then you need to stop micromanaging every single detail, making excuses for just getting by, saying, I don't have time, when you really mean is, I'm scared to do it differently. Let me repeat that one. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you're scared to do it differently. One of the sayings I say a lot, especially if you coach with me, is it's not, it doesn't work, it doesn't work this way. So just imagine this scenario, and this might even be you. A pet sitting business owner is absolutely exhausted from checking and rechecking their team's work. They review every single pet sitter report, they look at every photo, they correct even the minor details. Not only are they burning themselves out, but their team feels untrusted and undetermined. Their results, the best employees leave. And they only keep the ones that need that level of handholding. You literally perpetuate the cycle. Now consider a different approach. Instead of just checking every report, They implement a random audit system where they just review 10% of the visits. They create clear guidelines for what constitutes excellent work and make sure that their team understands them. And most importantly, they start trusting their people to do their job that they were hired to do. This approach will transform the business. They'd have the business owner would have more time, less stress, and likely better professional workers on their team. I'm not trying to stir the pot today, and I'm not trying to get under your skin, and I'm not trying to trigger you. But if you're feeling any kind of uncomfortable way, the chances are something needs to change in your organization. And so I want to tell you to do something about it. Literally make it your next 90-day goal. And I mean, you could even change a lot of it in just 30 days. And I want to challenge you. Take just 30 days to do it. I want you to commit right now to either fix the hiring process so that it actually works without you losing your mind, or get the help that you need to make it happen. No more winging it. No more recycling job posts from 3 years ago or reposting something that someone else used for their business. Oh my God, please don't do that. No more excuses about how no one wants to work or you don't have time to create proper systems. 30 days to make a real change in how you approach building teams. Here's what it might look like. I'll even give you like a blueprint for it. Maybe week one is audit the existing process, what's working, what's not, where are the candidates dropping off. Be brutally honest. Maybe they're not even necessarily dropping off because there's not even like a whole process for them to go through. Week two, create clear, compelling job descriptions that focus on what's in it for the employee, not just what you need, but like make it attractive. Week number three, develop a structured interview process that effectively screens out qualities that you actually are looking for in your business that actually are part of your company culture. And then week four, build an onboarding system that sets new hires up for success and not confusion or frustration. Now, that's what you could do in a whole month. After that, you're going to start the employee love program. Can you do this alone? Probably, kind of, maybe. You're going to get stuck. You're going to have questions. You're going to wonder, how do I get out of my head? Is this a really good question? You're going to need the guidance. And that's where community comes in. That's where you can see what other people have done. That's where you can ask someone like me who's done this a gazillion times. I literally cannot even count successfully. My clients have the problems of we need to constantly be hiring because we're constantly getting clients. Okay. Both of those. And what they've done is they've figured out these two systems because the only two problems you're going to have in your business, everything can go under, I need more clients, I need more employees. And if you don't have both of these systems figured out at the same time, that you could press a button and make it rain more clients or rain more employees, then your business is not going to be hands off. The business owners I have that take frequent trips or take frequent months long off are the ones that are able to do that. So are you in, or are you going to keep spinning in the hamster wheel? And that's fine because maybe you're not in build mode. And next week we're going to talk a lot about like what season are you in? But if you're serious about this and you're ready to lead like a CEO and it's your time and you're ready to stop the madness of what you've been doing, then you don't have to do it alone. It's where the mastermind comes in. And inside, we literally break down the hiring all for you, exactly how to do it. I have so many videos on it. You have me to review things. I'll get on calls with you. It's absolutely amazing. And then you have the accountability because you have the 90-day goals. You can have an accountability partner that's someone else that has the same exact mindset of you. So if this is you and you're ready, jump on over to jumpconsulting.net/mastermind. As you know, this podcast is sponsored by the mastermind, and I am never going to stop talking about the mastermind um, because it works. It absolutely works if you show up. So the quality of your team is determined by the quality of your business, and the quality of your team is determined by the systems you create to attract, hire, and retain them. It's that simple. It is that simple. So I want to thank you for spending your time here with me today. If you haven't noticed, I'm completely on fire this year. Something that keeps coming up in coaching and on the forums is that people are at different stages of their life, and you're going to constantly be seeing out there, crush it, crush it, crush it, and build, and all this like kind of masculine energy, right? We can't always be in that build mode. We can't. It's exhausting, it's not sustainable, and there's different seasons that we're in. And I don't think a lot of people talk enough about what season are you in. And then when you're not in that hustle, kill it, crush it mode, it's okay to take a step back. It's okay to be quote unquote, I hate this word, lazy, because you're not. But the voices in our heads tell us that. Okay. I'm going to dive into that so much more on our next episode. And I can't wait for you to come along with me. So please stay tuned to next week's episode. But in the meantime, don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe, share button, tell your friends, repost it if you liked it, drop me a line, bella@jumpconsulting.net, whatever it might be. No matter what you're looking at doing, remember when life gets you down to always keep jumping. Bye now.